Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's third video. We're going to have a look at the weather for 10 to 14 days for today's third video. Day 10 will take us 27th of November and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS, but not the ECM ensembles, so they haven't updated today. We'll have a look at the CFS V2 at the end of the video for December. I should get on that for you in a moment. Just to say that first video today was our 6 AM UK weather forecast. We've also released JMA Friday, and we've got the 6th installment of the Christmas countdown coming up for you at 7 PM. This evening I'll be live at 10:30 with the pub run. So a lot going on the channel today. Please keep checking back for more content, and like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Thanks so much everybody for doing that. Right, into the tropical Atlantic we go, and we've got this area just here. It's potential tropical cyclone 22, currently giving maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour with a minimum central pressure of 1,004 millibars. And 22 is moving northeastwards at 10 miles per hour, clicking on 22. We can see that this is being predicted to become a tropical depression quite shortly. So that's the current position of 22 just there. Will, if it's forecast right, become a tropical depression somewhere around Jamaica in the next few hours, and then move northeastwards towards Cuba as a tropical storm by tomorrow, and then north out into the Atlantic, where it rapidly goes subtropical to the south of Bermuda. I don't think that's going to be enough to increase accumulated cyclone energy to hyperactive. We've got to put around another 15 to 20 points to get to a hyperactive hurricane season. That won't be enough to do it, I don't think. It will boost ACE a little bit more, of course, but I don't think that's going to be enough to get ACE to to high practice. So I imagine that's the final storm of the season. You never know, even into December can get a very late storm. But anyway, interesting developments, very late season, and we are expecting a tropical depression and tropical storm in the next few days. We'll keep you updated. Central temperature is now sitting at 8.4. which is 2 degrees above 61 to 99 average, provisional to yesterday, to the 16th of November. That's going to tick down because today is quite cold in the CT region, but then we'll probably get a boost over the weekend as it turns milder, but also wetter and windier. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. The next couple of weeks, Norwich today, red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Norwich. We're starting off around to a little bit below average at the moment. However, upper air temperatures, as I say, get the boost, and summer temperature too, get the boost over the weekend. Tomorrow looks quite well. Sunday onwards will start to gradually cool down. By the early to middle part of next week, we're going cooler again, then back up again. So very zonal, very up and down. Warm sectors, mild sectors alternating with one another. Possibly a cold snap late next week. We have got some quite cold ensemble members just here, although there is a lot of scatter still, I have to say. So anything from around like the 25th of November onwards is very uncertain. I think the majority of GFS ensemble members are going to put a cold snap towards the end of next week. Very quickly, the GFS operation role, which does go for quite a potent cold snap for a couple of days, but very quickly that lifts back up and actually becomes really quite mild. But other ensemble members do extend out the cold, like the control run, which is the thick blue line just there. That one is extending out the cold snap. So anything from about the last 5 days of November onwards is subject to change. Precipitation-wise, more heavy rain to come tonight and tomorrow, with the area of low pressure. It's going to boost the temperature. Showery on Sunday into Monday. Then we've got a drier slot opening up through the middle to latter stages of next week, and then possibly going more unsettled again right into month's end and the beginning of December. Of course, that is a long way off. Let's have a quick look at snow row shows. It's got a little bit of cold snap showing up there. So right, a few snow spikes showing up around the 25th to 27th of November there. But no, it's not that many of them, to be honest, but there's a few. So possibility there might be some snow showers or snow throws coming in with this northerly. Norwich doing better than Birmingham. Hardly anything to be seen in Birmingham. And what about London? London not doing very well either. Let's go somewhere a bit further north, though. How about we try Aberdeen? Let's try Aberdeen. Exposed to any northerly wind. And there things do look a little bit more encouraging for some snow showers from around the 25th to the 27th of November. So possibility for northern and east region, possibility that we might get some snow showers. Doesn't look all that encouraging for more central and southern regions, excuse me, which is exactly what you expect with a brief northerly, because it does take a long time to get the coldest of the air and snow shower down into the south on the northerly wind. So if you just get like a couple of day cold snap from the north, you tend not to get much of a way of snow down in the south. It tends to take like 5 to 7 days of sustained northerly winds to be able to bring disturbances all the way down to southern parts of England, and that isn't what we're looking at with this potential for a little bit of cold snap next week. Right, okay, so more about that in a moment. We'll go through chart data, but temperature anomalies on the 17th to the 25th of November, coming out a bit above average, still looking very cold though across much of Scandinavia, and precipitation anomalies from the 17th to 25th of November, drier than average in most places. The latest Windflow Map from northschool.net showed that the next area of low is waiting in the wings. That's going to be bringing more wet and also windy weather in from off the Atlantic through tonight and tomorrow. But once that one gets out of the way by the early part of next week, then we change the pattern. So let's see how that happens. This is the latest UK Met Euro run. Still that area of low pressure, but it's to our west at the moment with Northerly. Well, that's right over the top of the country at midnight on Monday with the latest UK Met Euro run. But by the time we get through to midnight Tuesday, that low has gone off to Germany and Poland, and we are now starting to build in a ridge of high pressure from the Atlantic. Winds in from a pretty chilly northeasterly direction, but the main change through the middle part of next week is that high pressure takes over, so it turns significantly drier, and those dry conditions continue for England and Wales anyway through the middle part of next week. That could produce some overnight frost as well as that region of high pressure. Meanwhile, the westerly winds are bringing milder but also rather wet conditions back into Scotland. Then we get to the end of next week, midnight Friday, the high pressure pulls out to the west, but a cold front that is coming southwards here along that elongation of the ice bars, and behind that, this is potential for the cold snap. If we could go on any further, I suspect we would probably get a northerly out of that, although it would be quite brief. Let's have a look at ICOM. Again, still that area of low pressure over the top of the country on Sunday. It's clearing away though as we go from Monday to Tuesday. And then high pressure is ridging in from off Atlantic. Go, hang on, Max for 12, then icon, right, let's do this again. So high pressure ridging in from off the Atlantic as we go through into the middle part of next week. And then we extend out into the second half of next week, still about high pressure south, low pressure north type scenario. Mild air coming in off the Atlantic into the northern half of the country. Could be still quite chilly though down in the south. The end of next week, we try to get a northerly go, but we aren't getting that area of high pressure far enough north really to pull in a cold northerly, except perhaps to the northern half of the country. That's how we're set up by the end of next week. So a real sort of meteorological battle is going on there. Actually got high pressure trying to build around Iceland and Greenland, and combined with the area of low pressure Scandinavia, that's having a really good go at pulling winds in from the north. However, we've got the omnipresent area of high pressure from the Azores still around France, Spain and Portugal, and with this low in the Atlantic, we are trying also to maintain a southwesterly flow, and I suspect in the end it will probably be the low and the high pressure around Spain that would be the driving factor. So any cold snap is likely to be very, very brief there. However, for the northern half of the country in particular, we do get -5 Celsius iceberg through with ICOM. So, yes, we do see some colder air trickling into Scotland at the end of next week. GFS midnight run, again, that area of low pressure over top of the country on Monday. That clears out of the way for Tuesday. High pressure ridges in from off the Atlantic. That high pressure could produce some overnight frost, definitely. It's centrally located within quite chilly air, so in the middle of next week we get some quite sharp frost. Then the high pressure pulls out to our west. We get this push of northerly winds at the end of next week. Certainly more of a northerly than sort of UK Met and Icon are showing that. It is very brief though, by 24 hours per run. High pressure slipping southwards and land the westerlies to come back in. So just a 24-hour cold snap. And then we're back into milder westerlies again. The main change, of course, is the anticyclonic look to the weather. A lot of high pressure domination there for GFS midnight run, suggesting a fair amount of dry weather once we get this weekend out of the way. Now, just beyond day 10, the GFS midnight run tries to get the high pressure up to Scandinavia. Has a go at pulling off a Scandinavian high. Again, under this area of high pressure is likely to be quite cold. There could be some overnight frost and fog. Gruesome twosome maybe for the final week of November. Very end of the GFS midnight run, start to pull high pressure back out into the Atlantic again. Perhaps we can have another go at a northerly push. That gets us Sunday, 3rd of December. This is how the GFS 6 is looking. Once more, that area of low pressure right over top of the country, 6 a.m. on Monday. That gets out of where we get a ridge building to our north and west Tuesday. That should dry things out through the middle part of next week and could produce some overnight frost, especially so for southern regions. Actually, northern areas in this pattern are milder. Then for the second half of next week, we take the high pressure further west. We bring in much more of a northerly. So the GFS 6 actually upgrading the northerly compared to the midnight run. This is a very complex pattern, by the way. It does all hinge on exactly how far, change the code, it does all hinge on exactly how far to the west and to the northwest we can get this area of high pressure. If it gets up to there, then we're going to have a brief cold snap from the north for a couple of days probably. If we were to get the high pressure up to here, by the way, and turn into a proper blocking area of high pressure, which is very difficult to do without some sort of stratospheric warming event, but can sometimes happen. It happened in December 2010, for example, without an SSW. You can sometimes get a disconnect between the stratosphere and troposphere. But if we get it to there, then we get into a locked-in cold pattern. And of course, as we see from like the GFS midnight run, if we only get the high pressure to there, then we'll only have 24 hours of a cooler interlude, and then westerlies will come back in around the top of the high. So it really does depend how far north and west we get that area of high pressure. Anyway, by the end of next week, this is Friday 24th November, we are into a proper northerly. You see how far north the isobars are going? They go a long way north, all the way to the Arctic. So that really is a proper sort of northerly blast that we've got going on there. Actually bring the -10 Celsius iceberg into the far north of Scotland. The northerly is maintained through to the next day as well. This is Saturday the 25th of November, still keeping us in those northerly winds. And the reason for that is because the high pressure is further north and west. Most of the cold, I have to say, is still going into Europe, right way to Scandinavia, all the way down to Italy. So most of the cold here on this northerly is within this trough through here. But nevertheless, for GFS 6, they're definitely an upgrade on the northerly potential. Notice by Saturday, though, the high pressure is starting to slip southwards. Already energy beginning to start heading in around the top. So this is only going in one direction. Nevertheless, still cold Saturday, but actually still quite cold as we go through into Sunday. But eventually, by the time we get through to Monday 27th, Margaret starts moving in around the top of the high pressure. That's day 10, of course, Monday 27th of November. And then we're into mild conditions with high pressure south, low pressure north, in the closing days of November, and that takes us through the start of December as well. That's as far as we get to with GFS 6, which gets us to 6 a.m. on Sunday, the 3rd of December. If you enjoyed the video, please do like, share and subscribe. Make sure you both do that. Why not drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. And don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. We thank so much everybody for doing that. We need to put on around 75 now subscribers to get ourselves to 17.3k free. So if you could give us a sub and tell your friends about to subscribe, it would be amazing and incredible. We thank you so much everybody for doing that. Okay, GM again with that air low snow over top of the country on Monday. That gets out of the way as we go through through to the middle of next week. So by Wednesday, midnight Wednesday, under a ridge of high pressure, that could produce some overnight frost. Thursday sees high pressure in the south, so it could still be quite cold by night there. Meanwhile, further north, it's looking quite a bit milder. Then the high pressure pulls out to west at the end of next week. We get this northwesterly push. Notice the high pressure going out to west further with the GEM as well. So this one also upgrading the cold potential through the end of next week. And that's how it looks with the upgrade temperature by midnight Saturday. So yes, we have got -5 Celsius iceberg to the northern half of the country. Anyway, they're going to a proper northerly blast. Takes a little bit longer to get there, but the GM does take us into a proper northerly blast over the weekend of the 25th, 26th of November. Upgrade temperatures look cold and will be cold enough for snow showers, certainly in the north and running down the eastern western coast. Won't be much down in the south from this. By day 10, again, the high pressure slipping south. So it's like what we call a Toppler scenario, which I'll just explain that. This is something we had a lot in the 90s. So this is a very 1990s type pattern. Actually, we push a high pressure out to the west and send it up to the north with a trough of low pressure over Scandinavia. That gets the wind into the north. However, with the energy from the jet stream and low pressure coming into that area of high pressure, because it's not supported by a proper blocking feature, the high pressure topples, and around the top of the high pressure, a milder air starts to return. So the GEM produces like a 2, possibly 3 day cold snap, and then we're back into milder conditions again. And I say that's something that we had like in the 1990s and early 2000s winters. We don't get as many Toppler cold snaps. We haven't had as many Toppler cold snaps in recent winters. Maybe this might be the winter where the Toppler comes back. We'll have to wait and see. It's a good scenario for like Scotland to get snow showers, but it's not a very good scenario for southern England and central parts of England, the Midlands, etc., etc., to get snow out of that. The northerly has to be sustained over a few more days, you know, and be cold, be supported by proper northern blocking generally to get snow into the south from northerly winds. ECM, again, with that area of low pressure over top of the country on Monday. Then high pressure ridges in for the middle part of next week, settles things down, turns things dry, but comes some quite cold nights over that area of high pressure. So we do take the high pressure out to west, but we don't get anywhere as far north with the ECM midnight run. So, yes, we do pull in a cold front at the end of next week with a bit of a northwesterly wind. However, it's looking pretty muted for that northerly. That's midnight Saturday. It's sort of a northwesterly. That does bring some cold air into the northern half of the country, but very quickly, very, very quickly, even by midnight Sunday, we're going back into a milder westerly flow. -5 Celsius iceberg makes it into Scotland and Northern Ireland, but doesn't get any further south of the mountain. By day 10, we're back to generally milder, but also wetter and windier conditions. So we've got a range here, and we're still very uncertain just how much of a northerly we get at the end of next week. If we do get a northerly, it's probably only going to last a couple of days, so a 2 or 3 day cold snap with like the GFS 6Z and the GEM. They're the best 2 models today for the northerly. The ECM hardly producing anything of the northerly, and then we've got Icon and the GFS Midnight Run, and we've also got the UK Met, which is somewhere in between. So it remains to be seen what's going to become of this northerly, and we need a couple more days for things to resolve, I think. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from TemperaTureshow.com. Plenty of wet, windy weather to come tonight and tomorrow. No uncertainty about that. And then into showery conditions after that through Sunday and into Monday before things start to turn drier through the middle part of next week, especially so down in the south with chance of some overnight frost. And then we're back into those westerly winds at the end of next week. Does turn cold enough with those northwesterlies, which shall turn wintry across Scotland to Northern Ireland at the end of next week. Maybe a little bit getting into Northern England as well. And then we're back into just generally rain. Some snow across Scotland as it bumps into the cold air, but really milder, wetter, windier there by day 10. Can't show you the options on the table today, unfortunately, from the ECM Ensembles. They haven't updated, I wasn't able to download from, they haven't updated the Icelandic Met Office, so I wasn't able to download them from ecmdev.int for some reason. So I thought, well, just forget that, and hopefully things will be back to normal tomorrow. So we'll just go straight on to the CFS B2. This is the latest 700 millibar height anomaly forecast for December. Looking very unsettled. This is right, we're back to the deluge in December, I'm afraid, with deep low pressure in the Atlantic and into Northern as well. There's a little bit of blocking up towards green, but not enough to produce anything cold. So that's just back to very unsettled weather, very wet weather returns probably with that into December. Deep low pressure in control. Temperature anomalies a little bit above average in those orange colours. And precipitation anomaly as well. Hardly surprised given the 700 millibar height forecast. We're back to wet weather once again. So the deluge returns if the CFS is right in December. We'll see about that. It's chopping and changing actually quite a lot at the moment with CFS for December, so I don't think it's got a clear idea about what December has in store, so we shall see how it resolves. Okay, that's it for today's 14th day. We're going to be back later on with the pub run, so I shall see you at 10:30 for that, and between now and then at 7 p.m. we've got the 6th instalment of the Christmas countdown. I'll just tell you what's coming up tomorrow. We're going to have a 6 a.m. UK weather forecast. We'll have the ECM day 42 day. We've got weekend forecast, and if all that wasn't up, it's today's 14th day penciled in for tomorrow as well as always. But for this video and for today's videos, that's all for now, and thanks so much.